Well, indeed, a pleasure to be here in Cheyenne today, and to start out our show, we have our Highlanders, and to create a little more drama to it, if you will, we're going to, there was 5 single entries, and so we just brought them all out at once per the requests of the exhibitors. And so, with that being said, we're just going to go in through and describe the bulls as I see them, and then we'll kind of go back and then we'll select our champion in reserve after that. So the bull that leads out here is a June baby here, and obviously giving up some size and maturity, if you will, but yet as a bull that you look at him for what he is. He's very sound in his structure, and I like that about him, and his depth of body and spring to his rib cage is very nice. He's not as shapely, and I realize he's the youngest one out here, but even when you analyze him for his age, maybe isn't quite as shapely as some of the other cattle comparatively amongst their ages, but he's one I'd like to lengthen him in through his hip, if you will, a little bit. I like his cleanliness of his sheath. I think he's very sound and he's very nice. I think that's a nice bull to come in there for that particular age. The young lady with kind of this tiger stripe bull here, he is a March calf. Again, a bull, I like his depth of body and his length of body with that as well. And yet, as we get him out and get him going, he's very, very sound, and maybe one of the better moving ones of all 5 of them out here. And I like that about him. He isn't maybe as opened up in his base, maybe as some of them out here. I think he's adequate when it comes to that. But from a structure standpoint, being able to get out and go, I like the length of cannon bone. He looks like he's going to have some growth in him. I think that's a bull that's got some nice pieces and some nice things about him. The bull that comes in here next, I believe he said that he was a June yearling, July, excuse me. Here's a bull, again, that when you get him out here, I like his length of body, his depth of rib. He's a bull that has a nice set of testicles under him, and yet as we get him in motion, that's maybe a little where I'd like to change him a little. He wants to fight him a little bit, but yet he was one when he gets up, gets a little high up in his top, and I'd like to relax his shoulder some, and probably more so within his knee, but that's a bull that I'd also like to clean him up and through his sheath a little bit, if you will. But I like the length of body. I like the bone underneath that bull. Very, very good that way. Has some turn and some shape to him that we just like to modify some of those structure things with him, but awfully a nice bull there in that age group. The young lady that come out here with this gray bull, this is a February yearling. Again, a bull that I like his depth, and when you get in behind him, he's tremendous amount of shape down his top, and I certainly appreciate that about him. And then yet, if we get him behind him, I'd like to broaden him a little bit in his pins. He's a little more moderate, and that's fine. That's just a description, not a criticism. It's just whatever works for you. But he is one that's just more moderate in his kind than maybe some of the other bulls, and it's just whatever works in your program. But again, probably the biggest thing that we need to tweak on him is his structure and the way that he gets out and goes. He's not as nice and neat about his knee and when he gets out and get going, and yet we'd like to open him up when we get in behind him as well. The young lady that comes out here, here's a fall 2-year-old dark red bull. I like this bull. Good strength at the top. Again, he's another one that's maybe a little more medium in his size comparatively, and just actually the way that he is. But he's got a nice look about him. He's square, but probably the heaviest muscle bull, in my opinion, out here. And I like the angulation to his hind leg and just the way his bone work is. Good flat bone bull there as well. He maybe doesn't hit his track as nicely as I'd like him, but yet still, with that being said, it's adequate. He isn't labor with any of that, in my opinion. But so there's some different options that we can use out here in this particular drive and lineup. But let's give these exhibitors a round of applause, and I'll go show you the 2 I like the best.
The grand champion American Highland goes to Colin DeMuth with W.L. Lincoln. Reserve champion goes to Tenley Caskey with PSG Odysseus. Congratulations, exhibitors.
Our sponsors today, the Grand Champion sponsors, are Pine Bluff Distilling, the Derby Club, Stock Show Secrets, Showtech, ADM Feeds, and Visit Cheyenne. The Reserve Champion sponsors are Freeman Showbox, Miranda Simpson State Farm, Transova, Weber Law, Herc Rental, Kubota Equipment, and 5R Construction.
Welcome to the ring, the Angus exhibitors today. We have 3 of them. They're all different age groups. In the junior bull calves, we have Seek Ranch with CB Sky's the Limit, January 26, 2024 entry. Winter bull calves, Sawyer Styles with Styles Last Stand 4001, born November 5th, 2023. And then our junior yearling bull is exhibited by Cindy Worthington, RW Timeless 304, born February 12th, 2023.
Our judge for today is Cagney Scott. She originally from Highmore, South Dakota, and grew up on a purebred operation consisting of Simmental, Hereford, and Charolais cattle. During her show career, she was a member of the American International Junior Charolais Association Junior Board. She attended Northeast Oklahoma A&M Junior College and received her associate's degree in agricultural sciences and competed in the livestock judging team. The summer after, she worked for the Kansas Department of Agriculture's International Marketing Division. In 2021, she graduated from Kansas State University cum laude with a degree in animal science and industry and a business minor, where she was fortunate enough to be a member of the 2020 National Champion Livestock Judging Team at K-State and was selected as an All-American. Upon graduation, she worked for Vitel as a traveling sales intern before she started her job as the Director of Programs and Communications at South Dakota Pork Producers Council. She started as the Manager of Communications and Web Development for a nonprofit organization called Beef Logic Incorporated a year and a half ago. She now lives in Maryville, Kansas with her husband Hadley, where they work alongside his family on their row crop and cow-calf operations. Thank you to Cagney Scott for judging today.
We have 2 entries in the Charolais division. Tension in the barn, 2 entries in the Charolais division. We'd like you at the holding area, please. Charolais to the holding area.
Well, really a nice lineup of Angus bulls as we get out here. Only 3 entries, so we'll go through and talk them respectively as if we're in a champion drive, since we are. We'll talk the bull up front, the bull calf up front, late January bull calf. I think really a nice place to start off with. I think as you set him into motion is where you really like that bull calf, and I think is where he excels in this lineup. I think even though he kind of fights the halter on the stand, as he travels around the ring, he's the most comfortable on his feet and legs, and as he gets around, and now as he does kind of want to relax, I think one that you really like here from the profile, everything ties together really nicely. And then two, I think one that's more than adequate in terms of muscle shape and dimension as you get behind the cattle. Again, I think just a really nice, complete place to go ahead and start off this drive. The young lady's November bull that stands second in line, I think as she gets him parked on the side profile is where you really appreciate him. That is the longest sided, most extended bull that we have out here. You really like those things about him. He's a deep-bodied, bold-ribbed kind of a bull. Really like the added bone down at the surface that you see in him. You know, if you're going to pick on him as you step behind him, you just like to give him some more base width, some more muscle shape and power as you get behind him. Maybe clean him up in his sheath to make him balance a bit better. But again, as she gets him parked here on the profile, one that you really, really admire. Moving back to the aged bull that we have in the back of the lineup, a lot of really good things that you like about him. One that's really soft in the center portion of his body. He's deep and bold in the turn of his rib cage. Really a big foot and bone set underneath of him. You really like those things. Again, one that balances really, really good here on the profile. As you set him around the ring, there's a lot of bull there, and so he maybe gets just a little outside of himself. Maybe at this age, I'd like to see a bit more length and extension, but I think one that you really have to appreciate, again, just his look of balance here from the side is very, very nice. I'll go through and give him another look, and then shake the hand of your champion and then your reserve, but let's give your Angus bull exhibitors a big round of applause.
Champion Angus goes to Cindy Worthington with RW Timeless 304. And then reserve champion to Seek Ranch with CB Sky's the Limit. Congratulations, exhibitors. We don't have any Charolais today, so we'll move on to our Red Angus with, I believe, 1 exhibit. Our Red Angus exhibitor is Dana Weatherford with WTRA Legacy 5L, born March 25th, 2023.
Our judge for today is Chris Effling. Chris owns and operates CK Cattle alongside his wife Christy in Highmore, South Dakota, along with their 3 daughters, Cagney, Cagney and her husband, Hadley Schott, Chesney, and Kennedy. Chris and his family raise Simmental, Hereford, and Charolais. They hold an annual bull and female sale in February. Their operation mainly consists of Simmental and Sim Angus cattle. Welcome to Chris Effling, our judge today.
single entry in our Red Angus division, and here's a bull that you really appreciate a lot of things about him, and probably the biggest thing that comes to my mind is just his overall length of body and depth of body, and I think that is so very nice about him. And then yet as you analyze him, how nice he is in through his shoulder and the way that lays in there, and very nice about his head. And I was just asking the young lady, I said he appears as if he could be a calving age bull, if you will, and but still, with that being said, he still has some base width in him and some expression down his top, and I like that extremely well about him. The other thing that just kind of is an added bonus, in which some people call it an added bonus, I call it a fairly important thing. I really like his testicles, and I think that's a very nice thing about that bull, and maybe even in particular within this breed, is the size and how they hang, and that's all very nice. And then yet, as you analyze him, he's very clean underneath. I think a very nice individual and very worthy of being our champion in this here Red Angus division. Congratulations.
Champion Red Angus goes to Dana Weatherford with WTRA Legacy 5L. We found our Charolais, so we're going to go back to our Charolais show. We have 2 entries. Andrew Oden with 2 entries. One is Andrew, March 2nd, 2024, younger bull, and the spring yearling, OCR Sideline L114, born March 5th of 2023.
Let's just go ahead and walk. We're good.
Well, we'd like to recognize a few more show sponsors. Our purple sponsors are Tech Soda, LCCC, Allied Nutrition, Murdoch's, Cheyenne Frontier Days, the Wyoming Hereford Association, NODA Sharpening, and Cooper Specialty Feed. Our blue ribbon sponsors are Alpha to Omega, Next Gen, and Riverstone Bank. I'd like to also recognize our board of directors for the Cheyenne Livestock Association. Pam Freeman is the chairman, Lucas Stalkup, the vice chairman, Scott Vetter, Dylan Freeman, Marv Benton, Carrie Northington, Brian Wilson, Jeremiah Darr, Amanda Weber, Jefferson Keller, and Landon Elridge. I'd like to recognize these vendors that have sponsored our show. Wyoming Hat Company. They make the Wyoming Livestock Expo hats that are selling over with the sweatshirts. Want to thank Grow Business for the sweatshirts. And No Dash Sharpening is here for the first time. He is busy sharpening blades, so go drop off your blades and he will take care of you.
Attention in the barn, we'd like to let you know that the mini Hereford show bulls will be before the Hereford show, or in the Simmental. So our order will be Simmental, purebred, mini Herefords, then Herefords.
Well, for those of you guys who haven't had lunch yet, you need to go grab some food at Uncle Fred's concession. We just enjoyed a great cheeseburger, and along with grab some refreshments at Pine Bluff Distilling. Both of these great businesses have sponsored the Expo for the past 4 years.
Well, as we get into our Charolais division, two very good bulls, and so many similarities between the two of them as you get to looking at them, and it's so much good amongst both of them. And I guess we have an April calf and a yearling, obviously, and this calf, he really likes some things about him. His depth and curve to his rib is very nice, and yet he's got a nice attractive look, and then when you get him behind him, he's got some true shape in him, and I like that as well. And I really appreciate the fact of his condition. He's just right. He's not overcooked. He's not one of those that, we made up an age or anything like that. This is what he is, and it's true, and it's accurate, and I really like that about him. You can see that with him, and it shows right with his testicles. His testicles are the right size for his age, and I think those are coming along very nice, and yet such got a nice look, and yet so much hair, if you will, to go with all that, kind of gives you the added bell and whistle with that. Probably my concern with him is maybe the strength of his pastern, and then when we get him going, he maybe wants to handle his hind leg just a shot harder, but I'd like to give him just a little more strength right down there at the ground. I like the shape of his foot, and all that is all very, very nice. Cleanliness of his sheath, that's a very, very good individual that we're getting pretty nitpicky on. The yearling bull that comes out isn't blessed with as much hair, but as you analyze this guy, what you see is what you get, and I like that. Tremendous shape and length as you get in and analyze that bull. I love his body shape and his depth. I think that's so nice, and then yet he does the thing that Charolais cattle are meant to do. He has muscle, and that's what this breed is meant to have, and yet he has all of those characteristics of what you like in Charolais cattle, and then yet when you get up and look at him, he's very neat about his head. I like his ear set. He's very good about that set as well, and it still has some strength to his jaw and to his head, but yet does it in a nice refined package, if you will. That's a very nice white bull. I like it, and probably for me, I like the way that he angles and the way he handles his hind leg just a little bit better than that calf, and I realize that calf is just getting broke. He isn't as square and as true. Maybe we'd like to level his pin just a little bit, and I don't know if there's a lot of differences between him, with him not having in the hair and the calf having a lot of hair, that you can kind of just disguise that a little bit better, if you will. But I think they're both very, very good. Both of them have so much quality and so much good. For me today, I guess I like the angulation and the soundness of the big bull, and the power and the dimension. And when she gets him set, he can give you a very nice look. He's going to be your champion. The calf will be your reserve. Congratulations.
Champion is OCR Sideline L114, and reserve is Andrew, both exhibited by Andrew Oden.
Simmental.
Simmentals are going in the ring. We've got the first class headed. We need our third class come up here and get checked in. Our second class is in the staging area. Then we'll do our miniature Herefords. So those need to be making their way up here. And then we will do our Herefords.
One entry in the Simmental class, bull calf, exhibited by Gateway Genetics. RBCK up next, 1L, born December 3rd of 2023.
Really a nice December-born bull to get us started off in the purebred Simmental show. I think as you talk about setting cattle into motion, this one is incredibly impressive. As he travels around the ring, he gets out and reaches and flexes incredibly well. As he's parked here on the side profile, one that sets his neck high off the top side of his shoulder and transitions in balance very, very nicely. I think maybe one that's not overwhelming in terms of power, but he's more than adequate in that regard. I think just a really nice, super high quality place to start off with. Let's give this exhibitor a round of applause.
First place, Gateway Genetics, RBCK up next, 1L. We'll welcome to the ring the second class of Simmental bulls with spring yearlings. We have McConnell Hogan with MH Codeine, born April 2nd, 2023. And the second is Jeremy and Kate Roberts exhibit, R Big Hat 320L, born March 22nd, 2023.
Well, a nice pair of Simmental bulls that certainly have a lot of differences, and I guess I'll just start off by saying I think that if they're in the same condition, it wouldn't really be close, and that's why I start with the solid black bull that stands behind the bald-faced bull up front. I think right here on the side profile, just his added length, his body, his extension up front, the way that he's built in his lower joints, I think that all those things are better than the bull that stands up front. And then I think as you just begin to get behind the cattle and study them, I think that there's more shape there than what you initially think on the solid black bull. No doubt the advantage of power and dimension goes to the baldy bull, but I just like the added length and extension and structural integrity found in the solid black bull. The young man's baldy bull up front, as you get behind the cattle, he's big-hipped, he's bold in the turn of his rib cage, really like the testicular development that he's got underneath of him. I guess just for me, one that just gets a bit shorter and more compact. I'd like to relax him in the angle of his shoulder and allow him to go more freely around the ring. But again, I think a really good, useful kind of a bull. Let's give those two exhibitors a big round of applause.
Congratulations, Jeremy and Kate Roberts, with the champion Simmental, or not champion, but first place in this class with our Big Hat 320L. Second goes to McConnell Hogan with MH Codeine. We've got a third class of Simmentals, one entry by Andrew Oden. KLER Anonymous 3005L. KLER Anonymous 3005L, born January 2nd, 2023.
Nice single entry Red Bull that we have out here. I think just a really rugged, useful kind of a bull. He's long-sided, big-bodied, and good in terms of his base width as you get behind the cattle. Big-footed and functional in terms of his basic build. Not a lot of bells and whistles, but I think just a really good, useful kind of a bull.
First place, Andrew Oden. KLER Anonymous 3005L will welcome all the Simmental bulls back into the ring for our champion and reserve selection.
Really nice group of Simmental bulls that we have back out here in contention for your champion lineup. I'm not going to go back through and talk the classes as we've already gone through and done that. I think that there's a really easy and impressive winner and then a pretty logical one that slides in for reserve. But let's give these exhibitors a big round of applause. I'll go shake the hand of your champion and then reserve.
Grand champion was exhibited by Gateway Genetics, RBCK up next, 1L. And reserve champion went to Jeremy and Kate Roberts with our Big Hat 320L.
Like to note that Pine Bluffs Distilling is one of our grand champion sponsors. They have donated special Cheyenne Livestock Expo bottles of whiskey for awards for the next 4 years. If you're looking at the announcer station, you'll see that I'm modeling this bottle of whiskey. It's a favorite of the exhibitors. Members of the board had the privilege of going and choosing a barrel of whiskey that was then labeled and bottled with the Cheyenne Livestock Expo label. You can go over to their booth and try some and talk to the owner of the distillery himself, Chad. They not only donate whiskey, but also the Supreme barrels, and the show gets a percentage of sales here at the show. Thank you, Pine Bluff Distilling. Okay.
And then I'll give you guys the information on these two. So, 1, 2, 1. Who was grand champion?
This one? Yeah, this was the one you like.
Grand.
And
All right, just real quick. They're not in there.
All right, our miniature Hereford
On the bottom.
bowls are in the ring. We need our Hereford bowls lined up. This is a Hereford point show, so we will be doing specific classes on that. And we need, after that, we will need our maintainer bowls. Maintainer bowls after the Hereford.
It don't do Bill Snyder, just the places Snyder.
All right, the exhibitors in this class, miniature Herefords, Schneider View, exhibiting Blue Zero, born March 28th, 2023. Or excuse me, February 28th, 2023, and then T3C, You Bet, born in March of that same year, I believe. 2 exhibitors in this miniature Hereford Bull class.
Well, just 2 entries out here in our miniature Hereford Bull Show. So again, we'll go through and talk them as individuals, starting with the gentleman's bull that's up front. I think just a really functional kind of a bull that you have to appreciate. You like his length and depth of side. I think one that's good in terms of his basic build. You know, maybe not just the neatest looking bull, but I think that that's okay because he does all the basics really, really well. The young lady's bull that stands directly behind him, I think that's the bull that's just overwhelming in terms of power and dimension. He's wide constructed and muscular. He's incredibly bold and deep in the turn of his rib cage. And then too, I think as you step off from the side, he kind of puts it into a neat package as he gets here on the standstill. Really a nice pair of bulls. I'll go out and shake the hand of your champion and then reserve. Let's give these 2 exhibitors a big hand.
No, the first one is Snyder View, the second one is that TC.
Congratulations, T3C with You Bet as the champion, and Schneider View with Blue Zero as reserve.
As we're waiting for the Herefords to enter the ring, we'd like to thank the vendors and sponsors for the Cheyenne Livestock Expo. Go grab some food at Uncle Fred's concession along with some refreshments at Pine Bluff Distilling. Both of these great businesses sponsored the Expo for the past 4 years. Also, we'd like to recognize the Cheyenne Livestock Expo Superintendent.
Somebody left this in the boys' bathroom.
Someone left a small business card wallet. If you can describe it, you can have it. Oh, wait a second, there's probably names on those.
All right, we're going to start with our open Hereford Bull Show, the biggest show here at the show today. We're starting with spring bull calves. Sidwell Herefords exhibiting SG032 Nix 404M, born March 12th, 2024. Daniel and Ashlyn Calderwood with DC 254G 401 Missionary Ridge 15M, born March 6th, 2024. And Gene Stallon, GCS Thunder 411, born March 2nd, 2024. 3 entries in this class.
Very competitive class of bull calves as we start our Hereford show, and some give and take in between these two bulls here. And The bull that I'm going to use to win the class, to me, just has a little more strength in through his forerib. I think he's a little cleaner about his sheath. I think his testicle size and development and the way they hang is just a little more ideal, in my opinion. I'd like to give him a little more bone and foot as compared to that bull that's directly behind him. He isn't quite as heavy structured, and he isn't quite as heavy bone and footed as that bull that's standing right there behind him, but yet I think he's adequate. I think he has the advantage as far as length of body is concerned, and the strength of top line and the way that he handles his shoulder is just a little nicer than the bull that comes in here second. The dark red-eyed bull here, that's very appealing, and depending on how much pigment you want, I mean, that can kind of get yourself pretty excited in some instances. He has a tremendously big top, and I like that about him, and then when you get in behind him, big stifled and has a tremendous amount of shape. I like his rib shape about him. I just like to change him right there and through his forerib and just blend that shoulder into him a little nicer for me to get him any higher, to get him around that bull up there. The younger bull here that's going to round out the class, again, another bull that's got a big red eye in him. I like his smoothness, and I think that's a bull that's got some depth and some turn to his rib, and I think that's all very nice. For me, we need to make him just go a little bit better. I'd like to change him structurally off of both ends to make him a little more ideal, make him more competitive.
Winning this class, exhibited by Sidwell Hereford's SG032 Nix 404M. Second place to Gene Stallon with GCS Thunder 411. And third to Daniel and Ashlyn Calderwood with DC 254G 401 Missionary Ridge 15M. I believe we're now ready for our Junior Bull Calf class. We have Ty Weathers with L2T 229G 124 Mark M01ET. Born March 26th of 2024. Gene Stallon with Fleetwood Mac 402. Born February 18th, 2024. And Ronald Harper with CH Defiance 407. Born January 19th, 2024. 3 entries in this class.
good useful set of bulls as we get them out here, and all three of them have some nice parts and pieces that you really appreciate about all of them. And then it'll be interesting as in time as they grow and develop. And I'm just going to kind of tell you how I see him today. The bull I'm going to use to win the class with, to me, he's the soundest one. And when we get him out and get him going, he hits his track as nice, and he has some muscle and some shape and some body shape in him. I like the cleanliness of his sheath, and probably for me, he's the one that I like him in through the angulation of his shoulder. I like his foot size considerably better. I'd like to change him up there, up and through his top line a little bit. When he gets out and goes, he's fine, but when we get him standing, he wants to just get a little bit high right there in the center part, and I don't know if it's just he's a little extra full or what that is all about, but I like so many things about that bull. But the biggest thing about him to me is just that he's just so much nicer at the ground, and when we get him going, he's so sound and so good about the way he gets out and goes. The young lady that's going to come in second, and these next two bulls are very similar in kind, in my opinion. The young lady's bull I'm going to use to win the here in second. He to me is he's a little longer in terms of his body. I think he's got just a little more balance about him for me, and that's what I think that just brings him to the advantage point there. But I like his pigment. I like the freckles on his face there as well. That's all very nice. I just like to change him up in through his shoulder and the angulation of that and the way he goes to get him any higher in this class. If we do that, he gets a little bit more competitive. Super nice set of testicles on that bull. It comes in there second as well. Young lady again, here's the one that's big red eyes and got some black in there, and very definitive and explosive about his markings. I like that. Very nice mark, very well pigmented bull. I like his extension. And yet when you get in behind him, he's got some shape and some dimension about him, and I like the strength down his top that he has and the depth of body. He's one I'd like to lengthen out in through his hips some. I'd like to give him a little more bone and a little more foot, if you will, but more so I just like to change him in just terms of his angulation. When we set him and get him going, he just delabors a little bit more and doesn't want to move with the ease of maybe those other two bulls ahead of him, but still a very nice, very practical, good kind of bull to come in here and round out this class.
Congratulations to Gene Stallon with first in this class with Fleetwood Mac 402. Second, Ronald Harper with CH Defiance 407. And third to Ty Weathers with L2T 229G 124 Mark M01ET. We're on to our third and final class of Hereford Bulls. 2 entries in this class. These are junior yearling bulls. Gene Stallon with entry GCS Overreach 307, born February 19th, 2023. And Ty and Kaylee Krebs with K Last Man Standing 304 ET, born February 8th, 2023.
good bull to win this class. Very deep and bold about the way he's made, and yet I like his length of body, and yet and you get him behind him, he's big pinned and got a big top line in him. I think just so much balance and quality about that bull. Very logical place to start this class. The bull that comes in here second, a big pigmented type of bull, short marked, and I like that about him. Very heavy boned and heavy structured, and maybe has a little more of an advantage that way as compared to our class winner. But yet for me, he's one I want to change him up and through his shoulder, just lay him back a little bit better, and more so change him up and through his knee and the way he gets out of his front end. But very long-bodied, very muscular, appreciate the condition, big testicle, good, useful kind of bull to come in here and round out this class.
First place in the junior yearling bulls goes to Ty and Kaylee Krebs with K, last man standing, 304 ET. Second, Gene Stallon with GCS Overreach 307. We're now ready to bring the entries in for our selection of the champion and reserve champion Hereford bull. The winner of our first class spring bull calves, Sidwell Herefords with SG032 Nix 404M. The first place junior bull calves, Gene Stallon with Fleetwood Mac 402. And our last class junior yearling bulls, first place to Ty and Kaylee Krebs with K, last man standing, 304 ET.
Let's give these Hereford bull exhibitors a round of applause. A nice bull show. You know, you get into these classes, and when we got at the end, you just kind of thought to myself, there just wasn't an unpractical, unuseful kind of bull, and I think that needs to be, you breeders need to be commended for that. He brought a very good, practical, good, useful set of cattle that he can turn these cattle out and make something out of them and do the beef industry some good. And then you can't always say that whenever you're doing some of these shows, but I sincerely mean this. And the bulls that we got out here, I'm very pleased with. And just briefly about them, we kind of talked about them, but I wanted to fine tune a little bit, a couple things on these. The bull that won that first class, again, that was a very nice class of bulls, and some challenging things within there, and yet very happy with what we came out of there with. Maybe the longest bodied bull of the whole group lies within this calf, and when you read him and project him as he gets to maybe be the age and the size of this bull back here, the yearling bull, you still will probably feel comfortable with saying the fact that he'll have the advantage in terms of length of body, and he just tremendously long and still has a very nice head, a good strong head about him. I like his body shape about him. Testicle size is very, very nice. As we commented about him, I wanted to change him a little bit out of his front end and in the angulation of his shoulder a bit, but yet that's still a very nice bull, and I think there's some things within some usefulness and some practicality about that bull. Really like his markings as well. the bull that won that second class, as we talked about, he was the nicest moving one of all the bulls in that class. Really gets out and handles his hip and his hind leg very nicely, and I really appreciate that about him. Again, another bull that you really like his testicle size and shape. He's clean sheathed. Foot and bone work is very, very nice. He's not as shapely. He's adequate, but yet still, as we analyze him, maybe not quite as shapely. We wanted to change him a little bit up there in his top line as he stands, and I haven't really quite figured that out. Generally, when cattle maybe get a little harsh right in through there, they don't move as nice, and so I don't know if he's just got a little gut ache or what he's got going on, but that's still a very good, very practical bull. I like his head, and I like just his balance and his kind. I think that's a very, very nice bull that comes out of that second class. The big bull that comes out of that last class, again, there's a bull that we like him. He's medium in his size, and but yet with that, I really like his length of body. I think that's a bull that tremendously shapely and dense and three-dimensional, and you really appreciate those things about him. And yet he's still got a nice head about him. I like that as well. Very strong, good, useful, practical kind of head. One that you can kind of use either way if you wanted to make black baldies or make some purebred type cattle out of that bull. I think that bull's got a lot of practicality and a lot of usefulness about him. He isn't maybe wanting to hit his track maybe as nice as some, but yet still with all that dimension, it's adequate for me with all that length and all that dimension. I think that makes that bull pretty hard to beat. That'll be your champion today. And then I'm going to use the bull out of that first class to be your reserve. Congratulations to those exhibitors.
Champion goes to the junior yearling bull, exhibited by Ty and Kaylee Krebs. Kay, last man standing, 304 ET. And reserve champion, spring bull calf by Sidwell Herefords, SG032 Nix 404M. Congratulations, exhibitors.
And then our Shorthorn Plus and our AOB.
We're on to our main show, the one entry in this class, exhibited by Kaya Hendrickson, SMMT Endless Fame, 406M, born May 21st, 2024.
Well, just a Mayborn bull calf out here in our maintainer division, but I think one that you really have to appreciate just in terms of quality. I think here from the profile, one that's really striking, balanced from the side profile, one that's so good in terms of the build of his hip and hind leg. One that maybe is just a bit immature, but he's just a May calf, so you'd expect that. I will say it's rather impressive, the testicular development that he's got underneath of him at this age, but again, just a really high quality, nice maintainer bull calf to win this division. Let's give this exhibitor a big round of applause.
Kaya Hendrickson gets first with SMMT Endless Fame 406M. Our next class is Junior Maintainer Bull Calves. We have 2 entries. Caden Gabauer with KAG Mafia, February 8th, 2024. Second entry is Jody Mead with MSC Domino, February 5th, 2024.
Well, a nice pair of maintainer bulls out here. I'm not sure you could make them more different if you tried to. The young lady's black bull is going to go ahead and lead off the class. I guess as you just begin to break down the cattle, for me, I just prefer his added muscle shape and dimension as you step in behind him. He's got more true base width and turn, especially as you begin to study him in through his rib cage. I just prefer the added power and dimension that you find in him. No doubt I'd like to modify him in terms of his foot shape on those rear two. I'd like to see him go a bit more flexible around the ring. But again, just like the moderation, depth of body, and power found in that one to lead off the class. Young lady's Blaze Face Bull is no doubt very striking here on the profile. Incredibly long-sided and extended up through his front 1/3. No doubt like the structural build of him over our class winner. I guess just for me at this day and age, we need to see him showing a bit more muscle shape. Need to see him having a bit more power and punch, especially for this breed. But a really nice entry that we have out here. Let's give these two exhibitors a round of applause.
First place goes to Caden Gebauer with KAG Mafia. Second place, Jody Mead with MSC Domino. We'll now go ahead and bring back everything for champion and reserve champion selection.
Our official livestock show photographer is Legacy Livestock Imaging. And notice these young ladies out in the ring. Legacy Livestock Imaging is located right behind me in front of the backdrop.
Well, I apologize for taking a little bit extra time here, but again, I think we have a bit of the same story on this pair just being so different in terms of their type and kind. The difference is in comparison to the class we just judged, I think that there's a bit more shape that we find in the young bull calf up front, and so I'm going to go through and talk the differences between these two just to explain what I'm seeing out here. The reason that I keep coming back to this bull calf up front is because of his structural build. He's just so good and fluid as he moves around the ring, and I think you really have to appreciate that, the way he sets his shoulder onto his skeleton and he plants down. I think that those things are really impressive about him. You know, we talked about how he's not just the most mature yet, and that's because he's a young Mayborn calf. But then I think as you step behind him, he actually surprises you in that he does have some muscle, and he does have a square hip set into him and some good turn through his rib cage. So those things are kind of surprising, and that's kind of what causes some issues for me out here. The bull calf that stands behind him, that's no doubt the one that has the advantage in muscle shape and dimension. He's wider constructed and bolder in the turn of his rib cage. I think one that you really have to appreciate from that standpoint. You know, he is fighting the halter a little bit out here today as a bull calf, and so, you know, it gets hard to read structure at times, but I think even then you can read that he's a little bit bolder in the turn of his shoulder, a little bit more upright there, and so you just have to kind of sort through those things in your mind. I guess for me, I just prefer the structural build of the young calf up front. He's going to go ahead and be your champion. This all black will be your reserve. Let's give those exhibitors a big round of applause.
Champion goes to Kaya Hendrickson with SMMT Endless Fame 406M. Reserve champion goes to Caden Gebauer with KAG Mafia.
All right, we are ready for the Lim-Flex show with one entry in the show. So the entry is Becky Craig, number 401 with BCRA KOE Casamigos 213 ET. Born February 13th, 2024. 1
Well, just one entry here in our Lim-Flex Bull Show today, and I think one that could stand quite a bit of competition. I think one that you really have to appreciate for his size and performance. He's a big, long-sided, deep-bodied kind of a bull who's bold in his rib cage, really good and functional in terms of his basic build and good in terms of his testicular development. Again, I think a really nice single entry that could stand some competition. Please join me in giving this exhibitor a big round of applause.
The grand champion Lim-Flex goes to BCRA KOE Casamigos 213 MET, exhibited by Becky Craig. The next show is the Shorthorn Plus with a single entry, Kaya Hendrickson with SMMT Endless Fame 406M. Born May 21st, 2024.
Well, we just had this bull back out here for our champion maintainer and just talked to him. But again, you know, just one that's really impressive at this stage of the game. Love his build and balance here from the side. Again, just a super high quality single entry. Let's give her a big round of applause.
The grand champion Shorthorn Plus is Kaya Hendrickson with SMMT Endless Fame 406M. Next, we'll move to the all other breed, AOB, with a single entry, Lane Schluterman with CUML Raymond Ayala 425L. Born April 3rd, 2023.
Good single entry in our AOBs. A lot of nice things you can use to describe this bull. Tremendously long-bodied and still so three-dimensional. When you get in behind him, big stifle in him, and he just so much shape down and low and good deep hind quarter in him, and then like the width of pin in him as well. And then he's so clean and neat about his front end, and yet still has so much strength. I love the strength of head that bull has. His ear sets into him good, big forearm in him. Clean underneath. And I think a little of it, is he has some tail head, and yet if we could kind of cut some of that down off of him, he'd help level that up a little bit and then lengthen out his hip. But I still think with that, though, he still needs to be I'd change him in through his hip in terms of length of hip is concerned, but yet so much dimension and smoothness and power. And when we get him out and go, and he kind of want to walk like an old fat lazy bull, and he's really not that fat, but he just wants to act like a lazy bull. But yet when you get him going, he's wide based. He sets his foot inside of his front foot track, and I think that's a very nice individual to go ahead and win this here division. Congratulations to that young man.
Congratulations to Lane Schlutman for CUML Ramon Ayala 425L, the grand champion AOB bull. We'll now have the grand and reserve from each. Well, just let me not get ahead of myself.
What? No, we're Supreme's tomorrow after the half. We're done. Yep. Oh well. Yep. You better announce that. All right. Our goal exhibitors will be tomorrow.
Well, in our pen bull show today, we have Andrew Oden with a pen of 3 Charolais. And we have Gene Stallon with a young pen of Herefords. And Gene Stallon with an older pen of Herefords.
It's funny, he's got all the young, he's got all the young kids leading the young ones and all the old guys leading the old.
The young pen is led by the young exhibitors.
Well, judging pen bulls is always a lot of fun, and that's it's something that we thoroughly enjoy doing. And with what we do at home, and this is the fun part for us, because that's and then if we'd add Christy and the other two girls, there's always a lot of conversations, and some of them get a little heated, but when we got 175 of them on feed, there's a lot of things that you can talk about, and that's what we've got into here. One thing I wanted to say before we got done with that last bull, in the individual portion of the show, before we get into this, was that Kegney and I was just talking about this out here, that there wasn't a lot of numbers, but once we get all of those breed champions out here, it's going to be a lot of fun tomorrow afternoon. There's a lot of good individuals, and we're going to have a lot of fun tomorrow night sorting a Supreme Bull. And then as we get into this portion of it, obviously we have two Hereford pens and a Charolais pen, and so we're not the type of people that we are comparatives. We are the type of people that will representations for what your breed does for the industry, because all breeds bring something to the industry and what they do and their pluses and minuses, and so that's the one thing that you have to really analyze and keep in your mind when you're doing these. And so we're just going to briefly talk about each one of these pens, and then we really like so many things about each and every one of the pens. We're going to start with the Charolais pen down here on the end, and I guess the biggest thing that comes to us in our mind is uniformity. They're 3 peas in a pod. They're very good. They have great length of body. Their soundness is good. Their testicles are good. They're all very good about their heads, and not coarse made, but yet still have some power and some dimension. We like the fact that they are lean in their condition and they're fresh. They've just got a lot of things going for them, but just so many good things about those bulls. And even when you get in from the lead bull into the anchor bull and then into your middle bull, your quality doesn't drop off all that much. Very good, useful kind of Charolais bulls there. As we get into these Hereford pen of calves here, a lot of good things that can be said about those. And actually, as we were walking by the lead bull, and Kegney goes, "That's a really nice bull." And I said, "Yeah, he was a class winner in our open show," and so he dang sure. It kind of made me feel good, because she found him and so did I. So I guess that's a scary thing, or a good thing in combination as well, that we're thinking alike and that we both like the same things. And yet their anchor bull, that's a bull, that dark red-eyed bull, chock full of muscle and has some length of body and some growth and does some things what the Hereford breed will bring to us. Probably our biggest struggle with that pen is going to be their middle bull. That's a bull that does have some length of body, and he does have some shape to him. He's got some growth to him, some length of cannon. They're all 3 very youthful in their kind, and we like that about him. Probably our biggest thing is a little bit with his structure. His depth could be a little bit better, but more concerning with him is maybe his testicles. That gets to be a bigger concern for her, for Kegney and I both. And then as we get into these age bulls, there was one of those bulls that was in the halter show and was second behind our champion bull. But that bull is a very useful, practical, great pigment. I like that as well, or I should say we both like that as well about him. His depth of body is very nice, his shape. They're very lean and very good in their kind. And then their anchor bull, he's very, very nice as well. And I like that bull a tremendous amount. Just his length of body, his depth of body, his muscularity and shape, has a very nice head about him. I think that bull has some things that can offer a set of cows as you go forward with him, whether it be a set of cows of a different color or a set of Hereford cows. I think that's a very nice individual. Where we ran into him, and then again, for us, when we ran into that third bull in there, he gets a little flatter. The horn bull, it gets a little flatter in his makeup and his kind, but yet he still has some good things about him. He has some growth and some length, and we like that as well about that bull as well. well. So just some interesting pieces and parts as you dissect these pins on down. All have some usefulness and some practicality about them. They're cattle that can, as these exhibitors go and take them home and go to selling them, you have something to be proud of, that they all offer the industry something very good. So, we're not very good at poker. We kind of wear everything on our sleeve, and so I think you can probably judge by what we're going to end up doing. So our champion pin will be the Charolais bulls. Congratulations to those exhibitors, to that exhibitor, and then our reserve will be the aged pin of Hereford bulls here as well. Congratulations to all you exhibitors in this here show.
The champion Charolais pin goes to Andrew Oden, or the champion pin of 3 goes to Andrew Oden with his Charolais bull. The reserve champion goes to Gene Salon with his older pin of Hereford bulls. Congratulations to the pin of 3 exhibitors. Thank you to our judges, our show sponsors. Thank you to our official photographer, the vendors that have supported this, most of all the exhibitors. Thank you for your excellent show today.